Today we are going to study assumptions of the law of diminishing marginal utility. Last time we have studied law of diminishing marginal utility. Now what law of diminishing marginal utility states? You know very well. That means our utility goes on decreasing with every successive unit. That means consumption of every successive unit of the commodity. Now, but every law, as I have already told you, that every law in economics have some assumptions. Now, what are the assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility? The very first assumption is homogeneity. Now, what do you mean by homogeneity? The law states that the units, the commodity which you are consuming should be homogeneous, of same kind. It should not change. Okay. So, whatever you are consuming, it should be of same kind, that is homogeneity. Now, second assumption is continuity. That means the process should be continuous, one after another. There should not be a gap. Suppose if you are taking one in the morning and then one in the afternoon, the law will not work out. It should be at the same time, continuously you should be taking. Okay. Next is constancy. Now, what do you mean by constancy? Constancy means that there is no change in income, taste, preference. That means other things remains constant. Okay. So, there is no change in all the other factors which will affect our consumption. Fine. Next is rationality. Now, what do you mean by rationality? Rationality means the consumer who is consuming the things, they should be rational. Okay. So, we can judge those people only who has a rational behavior. We cannot judge a person who has irrational behavior. So, that is what we say rationality. Now, next is cardinal measurement of utility. Now, what do you mean by cardinal measurement of utility? You must have seen, I have already stated utility is a psychological factor. Now, if it is a psychological factor, can we measure utility in numbers? Not possible. But here we are measuring those psychological terms in numbers, 1 unit, 2 unit, 10 unit, 15 units, how much satisfaction we are getting. So, this is a big assumption that the utility, whatever we have is in cardinal, that is in numeric form. Okay. Now, next we are going to study law of equimarginal utility. Now, what do you mean by law of equimarginal utility? Law of equimarginal utility states that the consumer will consume according to the expenditure. Expenditure means the money which he has in a pocket. So, whatever expenditure he has, he will consume according to that, and he will see to it that whatever money he is spending, he should be satisfied till the last unit of the money. Now, what do you mean by the last unit of the money? Last unit of the money means he should be satisfied of whatever amount he is spending. If he is satisfied, if he is spending 10 rupees, that means he should be satisfied till 10 equally. That means the utility should be 10 equally. That means ultimately the ratio will be equal. Fine. So, this is what they want to state. Now, here in case of law of equimarginal utility, we are going to study these terms in case of two commodity. Okay, we will check out two commodities over here. We will take two commodities. Now, you say commodity X or commodity Y. Now, how we will check out that my commodity ka ratio is equal? First, what we will do, we will check out commodity X. So, monetary terms, monetary value of commodity X is what? MUX upon PX. Now, this is the ratio of my first commodity. Now, I will check out the ratio of my another commodity. That means MUY upon PY. Okay. Now, this is the ratio of my another commodity. Now, what I will check, my MUX upon PX stands equals to MUY upon PY. Then, I will get equal balance of both the commodities, that is X and Y. So, you can see very well in the equation, that is MUX upon PX is equals to MUY upon PY. That states that both of my commodity ka ratio is equal. I am getting satisfaction by consuming whatever commodity X equally. I am getting the same amount of satisfaction for the commodity Y. So this is equimarginal utility. So whatever we have studied above, now we are going to study through the schedule. You can check out the schedule very well. The commodity marginal utility of X. Okay, now very well you can see in the schedule X ka amount, that is the price of the commodity is mentioned. X ka price is 2 rupees. Same way marginal utility of Y, and the Y ka price is mentioned, that is rupees 3. Okay, now we will check out the ratio of MUX, that is marginal utility of X. Now this equation is known as marginal utility of money for X. Okay, so what is the marginal utility of money for X? That is MUX upon PX. Same way marginal utility of money for Y. Okay, so the equation is MUY upon PY. Now you can check out what is the marginal utility of X. Marginal utility of X on 1 unit is 20. Okay, now what is the price of X? Price of X is 2 rupees. So we will go for the equation. Equation is MUX upon PX, that means 20 divided by 2. Answer comes 10. Same way with the consumption of 1 unit of Y commodity, equally we will check out the equation, that is MUY upon PY. Now what is the utility of MUY on first unit? That is 24. Okay, so we will divide 24 by 3. If we will divide 24 by 3, we will get the answer 8. So likewise you can check all. Fine. Now we will check out where the margin MUX upon PX and MUY upon PY is matching in the schedule. If you will check out, you can circle it very well. See, at first point 8, that means with the consumption of 1 unit of commodity Y, the marginal utility of money for X is 8, and with the consumption of 3 units of X, same amount of satisfaction we are getting, that is marginal utility of money in case of commodity X is 8. Okay, so when we consume 3 units. Okay, so that means 1 unit of Y and 3 units of X. Likewise, we will check out the second case, that is 7. Okay, now 7 again has a match for X commodity, but when we consume 2 units of Y, okay, so we get the marginal utility of money MUM for Y 7. Okay, when we consume 2 unit. Equally, in case of X, when we consume same 4 units, then only we get the satisfaction level 7. Fine. So that is what we will check out. There are three terms which are matching, that is 8, 7 and 6. 5 equally is matching. So you will check out all this, the one which is matching in both the columns. Okay, that is MUX upon PX and MUY upon PY. Fine. Now we will check out at what point of time in this we are getting the maximum satisfaction. Now we have already assumed in the above schedule the price of X and Y commodity, that is 2 and 3 respectively. I hope you remember. Now we assume that the consumer has 24 rupees in his pocket to spend on both the commodities. Fine. Now how we will check out? We will check out the ratio of MUX upon PX equals to MUY upon PY. Fine. So we will check out how much he is spending on X commodity should match up with the unit of Y commodity. Fine. So now how we will check out? That is what, if we check out the complete schedule at 5 unit, if you will check out, there are 3, we have seen that there were 3-4 matchings on different level, that was 8, 7, 6 and 5. But if you mark out specially 5 is the level where we have consumed 2 units of X commodity and 3 units of Y commodity. Fine. Now, if you will check out 2 units of one commodity, that is the level 5. So, you have consumed 2 units of X commodity. That means what amount you are spending. Fine. So, what is your unit in that? Unit is 6 of X commodity. How much you are consuming of X commodity there? You are consuming 6 units of X commodity. So, what you will do? You will multiply with the amount of money. 6 into 2. Fine. So, 6 into 2 gives you 12. Same way, when you are reaching at the same level 5 in case of Y commodity, how much unit you are consuming over there? You are consuming only 3 units of Y commodity. Now, 4 units of Y commodity. Okay, now what is the price of Y? That is 3. So, you are consuming 4 units of Y commodity, and if you will multiply 4 with 3, again you will get 12, and if you will add up both the commodity, that is the price of X and the price of Y, total will give you 24 rupees. That means the amount of money which you are ready to spend for the commodities, for both the commodities. Okay. So, this is what you have checked out. Now, you can very well see the diagram. We have shown the diagram over here clearly, which states the utility of both the commodities. See, we have seen you can see a box type diagram. Now, this is at one side, that is left hand side, it's a X commodity, and right hand side you can see Y commodity. Okay. So, the utility, this is the diagram, the slanting line. Okay. The slanting line which is shown from left to right. Okay. That is the marginal utility of X. Fine. Now, if you will see the slanting line of the one falling from right to left, okay, that is the marginal utility of Y commodity. Fine. At one point of time, it will clash. You can see that very well. At one point of time, they are meeting. Now, that is the point of equilibrium. That is the point where the consumer is getting maximum satisfaction level for both the commodities. Okay. So, I hope the things are clear. Now, we are going to start with limitations of equimarginal utility. Now, what are the limitations? First and foremost, it is very difficult for the consumer to know the marginal utility. We have already studied that it is a psychological term, we cannot measure it, right? So, how come we can judge that we are getting satisfaction by consuming 2 units of X commodity and 3 units of Y commodity or 4 units of Y commodity, and then it is balancing? We cannot judge it. So, it is very difficult. Now, second limitation is consumers are in many cases governed by the customs and traditions. We all know that we are governed by some of the habits or some of the customs. We follow that, right? So, no doubt for that we need to we cannot judge the commodity what we are purchasing, right? It cannot hold true for 2 consumers. Now, third is many consumers are ignorant about the law. We are studying economics, we know law of equimarginal utility, we will try to judge 2 commodities and we will see to it rationally we are judging it, right? But somebody don't know the law, they will not follow the system and they are ignorant, they will not come to the judgment of their utility, that is the satisfaction point. Last is that they in case of expensive commodities. Now, if I give you a choice between a diamond and gold, I think that will be very difficult. You must, those are 2 inexpensive goods, no doubt people will see to it that they get both diamond also along with gold. Okay, so this is a expensive goods, right? Show of goods. In this case, this kind of law will not work out. Okay, we want both in one. Fine, we will make a gold ring with a diamond studded on that. So, that is another limitations. I hope the limitations of the law is very clear. Now, we will move on to the next topic, that is consumers equilibrium through cardinal utility. We have already checked out that there are two kinds of approaches. So one was ordinal, which we have already studied. One was cardinal, which we have already studied. Now this is ordinal. Okay, so this is ordinal utility. Now how we will judge about ordinal utility? Now consumer, you know very well, refers to the situation where the consumer gets the maximum satisfaction in minimum price. Okay, so consumer equilibrium is what situation? Where consumer gets maximum satisfaction by giving minimum price. That is, if we check out MUX, the MUX utility of MUX should equals the price of X commodity. Okay, so a utility maximizing consumer will be in equilibrium. Maximum utility at minimum price, consumer is in equilibrium, that is more satisfaction. Fine. What we are studying over here, children? We are studying consumer equilibrium through cardinal utility approach. Now what do you mean by cardinal utility approach? Cardinal utility approach means in case of one commodity. You can very well check out in the schedule here. See, the units are been specified 1, 2, 3, 4, equally the marginal utility which you derive from by consuming the particular units of commodity. So first mu upon P is 500, then 400, then 300, then 200. This is a very simple explanation. You can see the schedule is very simple. Equally you can check out the schedule and the diagram is also very simple. See, the slanting line, the one which is falling from left to right, is the marginal utility. Okay, now you can see at one point of time where my price of the commodity and unit of the commodity is matching. That means the price which I want to pay. So at that point of time I am in equilibrium. This is the level of satisfaction of marginal utility. I hope it is clear. Now we will shift on to the next topic, that is indifference curve analysis, or you can say ordinal utility. Do remember, indifference curve analysis or ordinal utility approach means we are determining the position of equilibrium in case of two commodity. Okay, now according to this, utility cannot be measured cardinally. We know we cannot measure it cardinally or numerically. Why? Because it is a psychological term. So many times we have studied about this. Now therefore Professor J.R. Hicks, he has presented an alternate approach which is known as indifference curve analysis. Later on we will study actually how indifference curve is being presented or how it looks like, what is the diagram, everything we will check out. But right now you just understand that indifference curve analysis is a presentation which shows the consumption of two commodities and judging where we are getting the level of satisfaction. Now what is indifference curve? Indifference curve shows the various combination. It shows the ratio of two commodity, that is consumption of two commodities, okay, equal amount, where at the point where we are getting equal amount of satisfaction. Fine. So this is what we say indifference